Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to the lectures on fundamentals of mobile computing. Today, we are going to start about the wireless LANs. Wireless LANs are the LANs without wires. The mobile users can access information and network resources through the LAN. The goal of the wireless LAN is to replace office cabling to enable quicker access to internet and to higher flexibility communication. It is implemented as an extension to the wired LAN within a building or a campus. It is one of the fastest growing technologies. The demand for connecting devices without the use of cables is increasing everywhere. So, wireless LANs are a solution to collage campuses, in offices, buildings, and in many public areas. We have the wireless LANs applications next. The applications of wireless LANs are not limited to but are uh, cross building interconnect, means they can be used to connect LANs in nearby buildings. Here, a point to point wireless link is used between two buildings. The devices connected are bridges and routers. Nomadic areas, it provides a wireless link between a LAN hub and a mobile data terminal equipped with an antenna such as laptop or notepad computer. Nomadic access is also useful in an extended environment such as a campus or a business operating out of a cluster of building. Then we have ad hoc networking. An ad hoc network is a peer-to-peer network setup temporarily to meet some immediate needs. We can take it for an example. A group of employees, each with a laptop computer, may convene in a conference room for business. The employees link their computers in a temporary network just for the duration of the meeting. The requirements of wireless LANs, what are they? A wireless LAN must meet the same sort of requirements typically of any LAN, including high capability, ability to cover short distances, and broadcast capability. There are also a number of requirements specific to wireless LAN environment. These are throughput. The medium access control protocol should make an efficient use as possible of the wireless medium to maximize capacity, number of nodes. Wireless LAN may need to support hundreds of nodes across multiple cells. Connection to backbone LAN. In case of wireless LAN, an interconnection structure is required at the backend. Service area. A typical coverage area for wireless LAN has a diameter of 100 to 300 meters. License-free operation. Users would prefer to buy and operate wireless LAN products without having to secure a license for the frequency band used by the LAN. Handoff or roaming. The MAC protocol used in the wireless LAN should enable mobile stations to move from one cell to another. Dynamic configuration. The MAC addressing and network management aspects of the LAN should permit dynamic and automated addition, deletion, and relocation of end systems without disruption to other users. Battery power consumption. Mobile workers use battery powered workstations that need to have a long battery life when used with wireless adapters. Wireless LAN implementations have features to reduce power consumptions while not using the network, such as the sleep mode. So there is an option of a sleep mode that whenever the device is not in use, you can make it go to sleep so that it does not use the battery power. We have the wireless LAN advantages. The advantages of wireless LAN are mobility, means productivity increases when people have access to data and information from any location. We can use the LAN throughout our journey and this increases the productivity. Low implementation cost. Wireless LANs are easy to set up, relocate, change and manage since wireless wired connection is not required. So relocation etc. are very easy. So implementation cost ultimately becomes very less. Installation speed and simplicity. Installing a wireless LAN can be fast and can eliminate the need to install cable through walls. Network expansions. Wireless technology allows the network to reach where wires cannot reach. Reliability. Wireless LAN is resistant to different types of cable failures because there is no need of cabling. Scalability. Wireless LAN can be configured in a variety of topologies to meet the needs of specific applications and installations. Usage of ISM band. Wireless LAN operates in the unregulated ISM bands available for use by anyone. Next, we come to the technology behind wireless LAN, or we can say that it is the categorical structure of the wireless LAN. What it is? Wireless LANs are generally categorized according to the transmission technique that is used. Current wireless LAN products fall into one of the following categories. First is the infrared or IR LAN. An individual cell of an IR LAN is limited to a single room because infrared light does not penetrate opaque walls. Three transmission techniques are used for IR data transmission. First is the direct beam IR. It can be used to create point-to-point links. In this mode, the range depends on the emitted power and on the degree of focusing. Second is an omnidirectional configuration, which involves a single base station that is within line of sight of all other stations on the LAN. Typically, this station is mounted on the ceiling. Third is in diffused configuration, all of the IR transmitters are focused and aimed at a point on a diffusely reflecting ceiling. IR radiation striking the ceiling is re-radiated omnidirectionally and picked up by all the receivers in this area. Number 2 is the spread spectrum LAN. What it is? This type of LAN makes use of spread spectrum transmission technology. In most cases, these LANs operate in the ISM frequency bands. Spread spectrum LAN makes use of multiple cell arrangements within a cell. The topology can be either hub or peer-to-peer. If it is a hub topology, the hub is typically mounted on the ceiling and connected to the backbone wired LAN to provide connectivity to stations attached to the wired LAN and to stations that are part of wireless LAN in other cells. A peer-to-peer technology is one in which there is no hub. A MAC algorithm such as CSMA is used to control access. Third is the narrowband microwave. These LANs operate at microwave frequencies but do not use spread spectrum. The term narrowband microwave refers to the use of a microwave radio frequency band for single transmission with relatively narrow bandwidth. Next we come to the types of WLAN. The various types of WLAN are IEEE 802.11 standard. In June 1997, IEEE finalized the initial specification of WLAN. It specifies 2.4 GHz frequency band with data rate of 2 Mbps. This standard evolved into many variations using different encoding technologies. There are several specifications in the 802.11 family. One is 802.11 itself. This pertains to wireless LAN and provide 1 to 2 Mbps transmission in the 2.4 GHz band using either frequency hopping spread spectrum, which is the FHSS, or direct sequence spread spectrum, that is the DSSS. Then we have the 802.11a. This is an extension of 802.11 that pertains to wireless LANs and goes as fast as 54 Mbps in the 5 GHz band. 802.11a employs the orthogonal frequency division multiplexing or OFDM encoding scheme as opposed to either FHSS or DSSS in the 802.11. Then we have the 802.11b. This is the third category. The 802.11 high rate Wi-Fi is an extension to 802.11 that pertains to wireless LANs and yields a connection as fast as 11 Mbps transmissions with a fallback to 5.5, 2 or 1 Mbps depending on the strength of the signal in the 2.4 GHz band. The 802.11b specification uses only DSSS. So a point to be noted here is that 802.11b was actually an amendment to the original 802.11 standard added in 1999 to permit wireless functionality to be analogous to hardwired Ethernet connections. Fourth is the 802.11g. This pertains to wireless LANs and provides 20 plus Mbps in the 2.4 GHz band. Though in detail 802.11 would be covered in the next lectures. Then we have the HyperLAN. The HyperLAN is a European standard initiative for the high performance WLAN. Radio waves are used instead of the cable as a transmission medium to connect stations. Either the radio transceiver is mounted to the movable station as an add-on and no base station has to be installed separately, or a base station is needed in addition per room. The station may be moved during the operation, pause, or even become mobile. The maximum data rate for the user depends on the distance of the communication stations. With short distance, which is less than 50 meter, and asynchronous transmissions, a data rate of 20 mbits per second is achieved. Up to 800 meter distance, a data rate of 1 mbits per second are provided. So we have the HyperLAN. Next we come to the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth is a wireless LAN technology designed to connect devices of different functions such as telephones, notebooks, computers, which may be desktops and laptops, cameras, printers, etc. A Bluetooth LAN is an ad hoc network, which means that the network is formed spontaneously. The device, sometimes called gadgets, find each other and make a network called a piconote. A Bluetooth LAN can even be connected to the internet if one of the gadgets has this capability. A Bluetooth LAN by nature cannot be large. If there are many gadgets then try to connect, there is a miscommunication, or we can say that there is a chaos. The devices try to minimize the number of devices connected. Bluetooth technology has several applications. Peripheral devices such as a wireless mouse or keyboard can communicate with the computers through this technology. Monitoring devices can communicate with sensor devices in a small health center. Home security devices can use technology to connect different scenarios or sensors to the main security controller. Conference attendees can synchronize their laptop computers at a conference. Bluetooth was originally started by the project by the Ericsson company. It is named by Harald Blatland, the King of Denmark, who united Denmark and Norway. Blatland translated to Bluetooth in English. Basically, it is promoted by big industry leaders like IBM, Ericsson, Nokia. So we come to the last one, that is MANETs. The MANET, or the mobile ad hoc network, is a type of ad hoc network that can change locations and configure itself on the fly. Because MANETs are mobile, they use wireless connections to connect to various networks. This can be a standard Wi-Fi connection or other mediums such as a cellular or satellite transmission. Some MANETs are restricted to local area of wireless devices such as a group of laptop computers, while others may be connected to the internet. For example, a VANET or Vehicular Ad hoc Network is a type of MANET that allows vehicles to communicate with roadside equipments. While the vehicles may not have a direct internet connection, the wireless roadside equipment may be connected to the internet, allowing data from the vehicles to be sent over the internet. The vehicle's data may be used to measure traffic conditions or keep track of trucking fleets. Because of the dynamic nature of MANETs, they are typically not very secure, so it is important to be cautious what data is sent over the MANETs. So that was all about the basics of the wireless LANs. In next lectures, we will deal with details of the types of MANETs, which would be the IEEE 802.11 standard. Thank you for listening patiently. Thank you everyone.